I'm gonna go ahead and just start this process. The first thing I did, hopefully you can see all this, I just gathered my supplies, my lighter fluid. I have my matches here in preparation to grill, and then I've got my bag, which I'm gonna, when I take this cover off over here, I'm gonna just take a look and see how much old charcoal stuff is in there that might need to be cleaned out, and so I'll dump it in here. I want to make sure that my pan is seated appropriately on this little lever thing here so that it doesn't slide or anything once it starts to get going, and it seems to be seated appropriately. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and get my coals and pour them across all the sections evenly. I don't have a whole lot of meat to do. I'm going to do some hot dogs, a few burgers maybe, and some salmon, and then the rest is vegetables and tilapia, so I don't really need a whole ton of rolls. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. I'm just going to spread those kind of evenly, where there's some in each of these compartments. And now I'm gonna go ahead and take and spread these back across. And I'm gonna put my lighter fluid. I'm gonna get my lighter fluid here. And now I'm going to just douse very evenly and very thoroughly lighter fluid on all of these holes. Okay, so you can see where the grate is. It's still pretty much at the same position. I'm going to go ahead and light the matches now and just throw a couple in, one on each side, and let the fire get going here. So I'm back. Just wanted to show you the fire's going. I actually threw in about 4 matches, but I just kind of put them in each section, or more or less, and the fire will get going here in just a little bit. And I'm going to, while this is heating up, I'm going to go ahead, step in, continue prepping my meats. Of course, you want to make sure you leave the lid of the grill open, because you want to make sure that those fumes from the lighter fluid can escape. You want to make sure you're not trapping those fumes in, because that could be deadly. So you want to leave that open, at least for now, until the fire dies down. And you want to give it about maybe 20 minutes or so for the coals to ash over. And once they're completely grayed over or ashed over, you know it's time to start to add your food to the grill. And that's pretty much that. I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back, and what I wanted to show you is, I went ahead and it was okay to close the lid once I saw that the charcoal was grayed over. That let me know that, most of that combustion had burned off. And you can see here the temperature gauge. So this gives us an idea of what our temperature is on the inside. It's roughly, looks like 400, just a little shy of that. I brought my salmon out. So I've got my burgers on. I now have my salmon out. I'm gonna go ahead. Go ahead and open my lid there. And I'm going to go ahead and put my salmon on here. Slide this as close as I can. And I'm just going to lift and shift. Oops. So now I have my salmon on, I've got my burgers on, and I put the burgers and the salmon, because these are thicker pieces of meat, I've tried to put them where the fire might be the hottest. So right across the middle here, And the ends are not as, you can see on each side, it's not as much braid over, so it's probably not as much heat coming from there. And next I'm gonna bring out my, probably go ahead and put my hot dogs on. I normally wouldn't, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring them out because I just don't have that much meat. I normally would, because hot dogs don't take very long, I normally would save them for last. But I'm gonna go ahead and I've actually turned my wheel up just a little bit so I can bring the heat source a little closer to the food. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring out my hot dogs and throw those on. And then in the last thing that'll probably go on is like my shrimp and vegetables, because that also doesn't take very long. All right. I really like to put wood chips on the grill. It really gives it a nice smoke flavor. So completely up to you whether or not you want to use those. However, if you do, here's one particular brand. They do come in different flavors. This one happens to be hickory, as you can see there. And what you'll want to do is actually put them in water. So pull out some chips, put them in water so that the chips can soak. Essentially what you're trying to do is keep the chips from burning. When you put them on the grill, you don't want them to burn and have a more of a burnt taste than the smoke taste. So by soaking them, that kind of lets the water kind of soak in. And you can see I've already put water in here, and I'm gonna let it sit for just a few minutes before I start to throw these into the fire on the grill. The other thing that this does is it also tends to make your fire a little hotter. So it's also a good technique if you're kind of starting to lose some of your heat. You're gonna get both the smoke flavor and a boost in your heat is what I typically find. So what you're gonna find here is I've already flipped my burgers. And in order to add these wood chips, you can do one of two things. You can either kind of slip them in the grates like that, like so, or you can actually open the door here and toss in that way. It's sometimes a little trickier to get them in like that, so sometimes I just prefer to just slip them in right between the grates. You just want just a handful will give you that nice smoke flavor that you're looking for, if you're looking for that. I'm just going to put it where the heat is hottest so that the smoke can come off of it and really benefit the meat. And I'm just going to go ahead and give these hot dogs a quick twirl while I'm out here. My son likes them pretty brown, so we won't turn these yet. And like I said, you can see I turned my burgers. I just turned them, so I'm gonna let them have some more time on that side before I do anything else with them. Okay, see you soon. Okay, just doing a quick check, and as you can see, there's lots of smoke being produced. That's part of the effect of the wood chips. I'm just doing a quick check. I just turned the burgers over one last time. I'm gonna let them get a little bit more cooked. We like our meat very well done. And the hot dogs, my son likes them pretty brown, so I'm gonna let those sit for a little bit longer. I'm probably gonna go ahead and flip this salmon over. Pulled a couple of those hot dogs off the grill. So I'm just probably gonna go ahead and flip this. And this, because it's a rather big piece of meat, might give me a little trouble here. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and get a spatula or something.